Hey guys, welcome to Monday's Threads. I'm back with another video. This one is more of a sew along instead of a tutorial. And so we will be doing the very easy Vogue pattern V9253. This pattern was originally made for a dress, but I decided to turn this from a dress into a wrap dress slash duster slash jacket. And so it was very popular on social media, and I got a few questions asking what exactly I did and how I did it. And so that's what this video is going to be. So yeah, let's get into it.
Step 1. Study your pattern. You may want to size up and you can choose whatever fabric you would like to use.
So this shows that we have 6 pieces that we have to cut out. So I'm like, great. To make this into a jacket, all I really looked at was having this part open. When you go to the back of the pattern, notions call for a zipper and a hook, and since those will serve no purpose for us in this pattern, we are going to eliminate that part in the back. So we won't have a zipper, and this will be sewn either all the way down or it will be cut on a fold, so you have a seamless back. Okay, so let's get into cutting our pattern pieces.
Step 2. Lay out and cut top pattern pieces.
Okay, so for the first pattern pieces, we'll be cutting out pattern 1, which is the upper front, and pattern 2, which is the upper back. So for this, this is one, we are going to cut it out as is. But for pattern piece 2, remember we are taking out the zipper part. So we want this to be seamless. So we are gonna cut this out on a fold. So I'll cut all around here, and leave this as one piece. So you can go ahead and do that. So this is what your pattern pieces should look like. This is your back. These are your 2 pieces for the front. Make sure to mark out your pleats and all the notches that you need.
Step 3. Lay out and cut bottom pieces.
Okay, so the next part is piece 3 and piece 4. But true story, for some reason, I don't know where my pattern piece 3 is. So I'm just going to use pattern piece 4 for the front and the back. If you have your pattern piece 3, go ahead and cut that out for you, but I'm just going to use pattern piece 4 for the front and the back. And I will be cutting this on the fold. Now if you have pattern piece 3, you're going to cut it out as is without a fold, but because this piece is the back piece, I will be cutting it on a fold. Go ahead and cut out those pieces. Okay, so we have the front piece for the skirt, and we have the back piece for the skirt, and this was cut on fold, so it's one continuous piece. And remember, mark out your notches and your pleats. Okay, so we're gonna pin all of this together and we can start sewing. Oh, and just one note, I will not be adding pockets to this jacket, but if you want to add pockets, and I know pockets are in, you can go ahead and put those together. And you can just go by the pattern instructions, but I'm not going to add pockets to mine.
Step 4, pin your pieces together. Pin the top part separately from the bottom part.
Okay, so this is what your front, rather your top part should be looking after you've pinned everything together. This is the front and the back. Okay, so it's one piece. So you can go ahead and sew all of that up, and then we'll be moving on to joining up the top and the bottom.
Step 5, separately sew the top and the bottom piece.
We are a quarter way there. If you finished up sewing your darts and your pleats, this is what your top part of the jacket or the dress is supposed to be looking like. So you can go ahead and try it on and see how that fits. If you feel it's too tight or too fitted, you can go ahead and just adjust the darts so you have more room for the wrap. But I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think it's if you're following the instructions and using the right measurements, then you should be good. So we're gonna go to the next part, and that's sewing up the skirt section. So close the seams for the skirt section. If you're putting in your pockets, go ahead and do that. And then we'll be attaching the skirt to the top. All right, let's go and do that. So I decided I was not going to have pockets for my skirt, so I'm just going to go ahead and sew up the side seams.
Step 6, pin and sew the top and the bottom pieces together.
So once you've pinned the top and the bottom, just go ahead and see how it fits. So this is the way mine is fitting on me. And that kind of gives us an idea of the finished look. So you can see everything's coming together. And this would be so cute if you have your pockets. I skipped the pockets, so no pockets for me. But yeah, so go ahead and sew up your top and bottom, and then we'll move on to the next step.
Step 7, measuring out the front opening to place your binding.
So this is exciting, guys, because we are almost done. We are on the last part of sewing this jacket. So the next step is to measure out around the opening. And this is because we will be putting binding instead of folding up and hemming this. So measure out how much binding you're going to need. So measure out all around the circumference of the opening.
Step 8. Cutting and connecting your binding.
Once you figure out the length of the binding that you're going to need, go ahead and cut that out. Chances are that you won't have fabric that long. So we're going to connect pieces of material so that we can have that length. First, measure out about 3 inches. And this is the amount of binding that I will be using. But if you want your binding to be slightly bigger or wider, you can go ahead and widen that length. But I will be going with 3 inches. And I would cut out about probably 3 strips. Well, with the amount that I'm using, I'll probably use 3 strips. But we'll see. I may just need 2 of these. After you've cut out your fabric, we want to join the 2 pieces of binding or strips, the 2 strips that you've cut out. It's either 2 or 3, I don't know, however many you've cut out. Now we want to join them so that we have one continuous strip of binding. So with the right side of your fabric, mine doesn't look like it has a right side and a wrong side, but I have a waxy film on the right side and a matted finish on the wrong side. So the right side has to face you on the strip that is at the bottom, and the right sides should face each other on the second strip and lay it this way. I don't know how to explain how this is being laid, but laid on top of the bottom strip in this direction, and you'll see why. Once you do that, pin across so you're gonna pin across and what you're going to be doing is sewing right across there, and I'm just going to show you what happens. So this is exactly what happens. So then we've joined the 2 pieces of binding. So after this, what we're going to do is, so we're going to fold the binding in half, iron that down, and we're going to be folding that strip in, one side in and the other side in as well. So this is the look that we should be getting. Okay, so there you have formed your binding.
Step 9. Press and fold your binding.
Okay, so we've sewn across, and I went ahead and cut it out. I tried to show that in the video, but my positioning was kind of wrong. So cut that out so that you don't have bulk, and this is what it's supposed to be looking like. So the next step is we want to press this in half. So see, I just pressed this down and you can hardly see it. So that's why we're combining 2 pieces of strips, because we don't have the length, but this is a way to increase the length of any project that you have that needs a long strip of binding. Okay, so we've done the first part.
Step 10, attaching and sewing the binding on.
Okay, so once you've finished up your binding, this is what it should be looking like. We are going to go ahead and attach the binding to the front opening. So open that up and place that in there like that. Add it like that and pin. So do that all around. And so we're going to do that all around the edge. I also wanted to show you on the collar or the neck part, it has a bit of a curve. That should be no issue. Just keep pinning, but make sure you pull it out as much as you can so that you, rather you straighten it out as much as you can. So see, I can already see I didn't push that in far enough. And if you're gonna have issues with sewing, this is the part where it's most likely to happen. So just make sure that you push it in far enough and just stretch out the neckline or the collar part as much as you can. And I don't know if you can see this, but this is where I connected my binding. So it worked out perfectly because it's right at the back of the neck. So no one's going to be looking there. And if they're looking there, then they're weird. But you can hardly, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, this is the line. But yeah, you can hardly see that. So it works out perfectly. Okay, so I just finished pinning everything all around. And this was how much I had left. So if you like, you could go ahead and snip that off. Okay, so we don't need that. Okay, so the next step is to go ahead and sew. Try and sew close to the edge, but not too close. Sew where you have your pins to close up. Okay, so I'm almost to the end. Okay, so once you're done that, you can go ahead and hem your edges. Remember to hem your sleeves as well. Make sure you sew up your belt. And that's about it. Once you're done that, you can try it on and see how it fits.
Finally, work it.
So thank you for joining me on this sew along. Let me know if it was easy to follow, and if you have any questions, please post them in the comments. And I'm sorry if I missed out some steps, but I'm assuming that you know how to sew and you have done this pattern before, and this is just a twist to the pattern. And really all we did was open up the front of the dress and put binding. So that is pretty much the whole tutorial. But if you've never sewn the dress, then I guess this is good practice for you to learn how to sew the dress and just tweak the pattern a little bit. Well, thanks again for joining me. Please subscribe and like this video, and please follow me on my other platforms. I would love to see you there. All right, until the next tutorial, see ya.